see you using different colors. Oh, that's beautiful. You're an artist just like your mom.
Yay.
All right, keep up the good work. Mom's doing her happy sheets. Hi, Mom. Happy sheets for grown-ups. Hello, I'm with Santi's mom, Tisa, all the way from Singapore, and I'm so happy that you agreed to do this hat chat because there's lots of important things to say about you and Santi.
Okay.
And how you contributed to the program, how you've grown from the program, and to give everybody a little bit of background. Everybody who's in the teaching group knows who she is and who Santi is because she asks a lot of questions,
Yes.
which is great. And she shares Santi's work and his progress. And you guys came, what year was it when you first came?
2018, and Santi was just 3.5 years old.
3.5,
Yeah.
yes.
Couldn't talk, but couldn't read, couldn't write.
Right, right. So what's nice about the progress that I've seen in you, which I really, really appreciate, as a teacher, especially when you're working online, it's very challenging for me to go, don't do that, do it this way. And some people get their feelings hurt, because people get everybody gets their feelings hurt when they get to, oh, I thought I was doing it good. But there's a method to So Happy to Learn, and you kind of got to follow the script.
Yeah.
And so you were so great about like, okay, all right, I see that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You follow directions very, very well. And it shows in Santi's work. And it's so great to see the whole process of how far he's come. And it's confusing too, because in our world, we have so many different inputs, like what the teacher's telling you to do, what somebody in another Facebook group is talking about, so many different things. And I have learned early on in the So Happy to Learn journey of teaching parents to do what I do, we got to stick to the script.
Right.
I mean, there's variations, of course, you have to make adaptations, but there's a process.
Right.
And you follow the process so well, and it's so great. I mean, I can share everybody's work, and I want to encourage everybody who's watching this, who's in the group, share your work, ask questions, don't be afraid. You were brave.
Yeah, at the beginning, like when I would share the work, I'd go, oh, yeah, I'd feel bad, but I guess I learned that it is a process, and it's the only way that I can learn to teach Santi the correct way. Not the correct way, but the right way for him
to succeed.
To succeed.
Yes.
So after a while, I go, oh yeah, I made a mistake, and just learn from it.
Right. And really, are they, like I always do mistakes in air quotes, because is it really a mistake? It's not. It's,
no, I guess it's just the learning process.
It's the learning process, yeah.
So I think it's just natural for us to feel that way and to go through that, because if we don't go through that, we won't learn.
Right.
So I think it was okay, and then I just learned, and whatever you tell me, I just take it in, and then just proceed to the next day. I'll just do it.
Right. Right.
If I make if I stumble or I don't do it correctly, you'll tell me, and I can just do it again.
Then you can fix it. So one of the things that you did in the beginning, which everybody does, so don't tell me that you don't do it, because everybody does it, and it's a thing that took me a whole year to stop doing, was testing. Yes. And your testing came out real strong in the videos, as with everybody who does it. Now because of you, I really feel like people don't really test anymore. When they show a video, you don't see that in there.
Right.
And then if you do see it, we're all just kindly like, ooh, you test it. But it's so, the thing is, I want everybody to know is it's so common to test, because that's how we were taught, right?
Yeah. And I still catch myself doing it sometimes, not all the time anymore.
Yeah.
Like before, so
And don't you find that Santi starts to respond better when he's not being tested?
Yes.
Because he's got a chance to like work it out himself.
Yes.
And
he doesn't like it. So I think I've learned that, and if I didn't show the videos to you, I think I would still be doing some testing if I didn't show the videos to you.
Yeah.
Because you're not aware or maybe you are aware, but it won't get ingrained.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And the testing, I think, is the biggest thing. Once we stop testing our learners, like, what color is this? Oh, do this, do that, do this, do that, speaking for them, they're not going to have a chance to do it on their own.
Right.
And I love it. Okay, we're going to get into like our session that we
Okay.
just had. I woke up this morning
Okay.
thinking like, okay, how am I going to work this? I want this to be more than just a regular hat chat. I'm going to put the video together so
Okay.
I show myself talking before you came here,
Okay. Okay.
and then what it was like when you guys got here,
Okay.
and the session. And at the end, when I said goodbye, like I have the parents stand. I always tell the parents, get out of the zone of your child so they can tune into radio station Mrs. Brown. And you're going to want to learn to do that. I want all the parents to learn how to do that at home too. I mean, you're still teaching, but you've got to be like, okay, tune out from dad, tune out from siblings, tune out from everything. And then when you're teaching, you're not really mom. You're like Mrs. Brown.
Yeah.
You're a different persona, kind of. So things are a little bit different.
Okay.
But I liked how at the end of the video, he said goodbye to me and he said thank you. And he walked out the door.
Yeah.
He was confident with the process. Okay, so let's just jump into, my little singing bowl is going off a little bit, but that's okay. It's good vibes. Good vibes. So when Santi came in, understandably so, he was nervous. He didn't
Yes.
want to get out of the car. He's in a new place.
Yeah.
And I tell him, my mom's like, if you could see, like, don't worry, because this is what goes on in my house all the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
Everybody who's coming for the first time, or
Yeah.
we're apprehensive when we go someplace,
Right, right.
and children are going to be a little more obvious with it.
That's right.
So he didn't want to come in, and you'll see in the video that I connected with him. I made my energy very calm. I wasn't like, come on, you got to do this.
Yeah.
And I told mom, be quiet, stay away, so he can just tune into me. If he was tuning into mom trying to comfort him, and me trying to comfort him, and all of us trying to tell him it's okay, we wouldn't have gotten the great results we got.
Agreed.
Yeah. So he calmed down really, really fast. And then I tried to get him to come in here because I had it set up. Part of my plan was for him to do it here. He's like, no. So I'm like, okay, I'll bring it to him. And because it's new, and if you guys live close by and we were doing regular sessions, I wouldn't do that every time.
Right.
But he would feel comfortable the next time to come in
Yes.
here.
Yes.
So I was meeting him where he's at. And that went very, very well. And then I gave him a choice, like, do you want to send love? No. Do you want? And then luckily he knows you guys, I have to say, there's a few families that have just embraced this program to the core, and you're one of them. And that just makes me so happy, because this is why I do what I do.
Okay.
So,
Here.
yeah, and to see Santi is just like, he knew everything. Like when he dropped something, he's like, ay, ay, ay.
Yeah.
Told him, Mrs. Brown.
Yeah, that is so cute.
And then on his own, he when we were working, he picked up the tuning fork and the crystal, and he's like, he was ready. He wanted to do it, but it's
Right.
like on his time when he felt
Yes.
comfortable.
Yes.
And we have to acknowledge how our learners feel and be respectful of that. But at the same time, my favorite phrases are to be calm and assertive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm calm. This is what we're going to do, but not like this is what we're going to do.
Right.
It's like I've got the plan of how it's going to lay out, but we might have to take a little bit different path
Yeah.
to get there. So I knew that he would be comfortable with books. So I said, okay, we're going to have the books, and I laid them out, and then he clicked
Yeah.
right in. And I didn't start with anything hard. I just started with easy books, and he cracked me up how he reads the fine print.
He reads everything, so even the www, the
Yeah.
website. So that's why he notices if the website isn't there, or you did it, or so happy to learn. So he reads everything. So
And okay, and then Tisa has been very good. Like, you guys are very gentle with me. Like, if you notice a mistake, you point it out, and I'm like, okay, now we have a great editing system. Mr. Brown's figured out how to, it's just a piece of
Yeah.
cake to edit it. Back in the day, it was like, oh my gosh, it was a lot. If we found a
Right.
mistake, we'd almost have to redo it over or just
Okay.
pull the page out.
Yeah.
But it's really nice because, gosh, we just all sort of help each other
Yeah.
out, and it's nice. And I also appreciate the time that you put in to watch other people's videos and comment
Yeah.
and offer suggestions and help, because I can't do it all by myself. I kind of do it. I have done it all by myself, and it's hard. We're like a community, and I love when people jump in kindly and help other people.
I
And
think it's a good perspective also for the other moms coming from another mom.
exactly.
So they know that, oh, okay, this is how they did it, or
Totally. And that's what I love, when you moms share that way, because it's one thing for me to say it's going to come out a little different from me, but coming from a mom who's been through the tantrums, who's been through the no's, who's been through the throwing things.
Yes.
It's really, really, really helpful.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage all you moms, like, get active, don't be scared. And the first time you do anything, it's scary.
Yeah.
Like, you should have seen me the first time I got in front of this camera to film a class. I was like, it was hard. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Okay, so it was really fun. Like, I didn't know if he was going to go into the other room.
Yes, I wasn't sure too. So because he didn't want to come in the house.
Yeah.
But I think because you were calm also, you weren't forcing him to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I think he felt it and he was comfortable
Yes.
to go to the big boy stream.
Yes, and it's good because he's seen all that stuff. And I checked with you before we did this. I said, do you think he's ready? And she's like, oh yeah, he sees the kids at the table, so he can make that association.
Yes. So I told him, oh, Liliana, Esther Joy, Finn, Capolo, and then he goes, yeah, I want to do it. So,
yes. And he did really, really well. And he went with the flow. So I'm glad I have all that on camera that you guys could see and learn from. And again, remember, everybody's at a different place. Your child may or may not be doing that yet. You got to kind of follow the steps to get to that point. Now, one thing that I noticed, and these are things that we talk about a lot in the teaching group, like he'd take his cap off and just throw it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to make a deal of that, especially on our first session together. That's just what he does. Okay. But you'll see in the video, like the third time, I was like, okay, I just went over to pick it up. I was just telling you this. I went over to pick it up and said, oh, let's don't drop our markers. Let's keep it up here. Okay. And then it go away. And then when I sat down and he put his pen back in the cup, I was sure to notice it and let him know.
Yeah.
And I was telling Mom that if he was regularly coming here, you could expect maybe that behavior, because it's an ingrained behavior to do that. You might expect him to do, I would expect maybe 2 or 3 sessions he would still do that. But with me catching him not doing it and saying, whoa, hey Dad, Santi didn't throw his pen today. Can you believe it? Oh, that's another thing I wanted to tell you. I don't know if you saw us talking like with Rocco's mom and some of the other moms. When you have your tone with Santi, which every mom has their tone with their child.
Right.
Sometimes our children just get locked into that tone, and do you remember that hat chat I did? It was talking about, like, one of the moms, every time her son did something, she had the same tone, like, oh, that's so good, that's so good. And I can see that the child is just going like, they're so used to it, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So when you want him to know something different, like if he doesn't throw his pen and you're telling him, change your tone.
Okay.
Think about Miss Brown and just go, Santi, you didn't throw your pen. Not your normal, Santi, you didn't throw your pen. That's so good.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes it causes a little shift in their mind where it sticks.
Okay.
Now, when I had told that to Rocco's mom, and she had a different voice, like, wow, that's really good.
Okay.
That's a really good, I saw his face change. I saw everything change. And he was just like, oh, it's like he's hearing it for the first time. Because you're so used to our voice being the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that just came to my mind as I was thinking, as you go home and you worry about the throwing, you just have a different voice when you correct him, and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, I could see his lips were bothering him. He's getting a little bit tired, so you always want to stop while they're having fun.
Yes.
And so, and end the session on a good note. So I was observing that he was losing it a little, not losing it, but he was getting a little bit tired. His lips were a little bit dry, and he mentioned food. I was laughing because if you guys could see every single child here, as soon as they start getting a little tired and they see their parents, it's like McDonald's, In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
So they start working it with mom and dad, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But that's also a cue, like, we're done. And now if he had said that 3 minutes into the session, that would be a little bit different.
Right.
I would have had to work different, but we'd already gotten in a nice half hour, which is good here because this is a new environment.
Right.
So I acknowledged that. Oh, and then mom did her happy sheets. We have our new grown-up happy sheets. So it was nice because if you had been sitting on the couch, I know you would have been like, oh, he's doing that. Oh, because all the moms do that. It's the same for everybody. It's the same here. So you kind of had your thing to do. So I'm suggesting that when you go home, that you be away from him while he does his happy sheets. And for him, it's going to be different for everybody because we're meeting our learners where they're at. But for him, since he can do the happy sheets, he does one page, he brings it to you, and then on the other, then right there, like I did, you write something on the back. Because why that's good is because you might have something come into your mind, like on the back of one of our happy sheets, the last one we wrote. What did we write?
Fireplace.
Because he kept looking at my fireplace. So I'm like, oh, well, let's take advantage of that right there.
Yes.
Now, for you, another thing, there's many different ways you can do it. You can do it that way. You want to do it that way a couple times a week. You want to have a folder with a bunch of happy sheets in there that could also have stuff on the back. So you do it that way where you're off doing something else and he's doing that. And then you look at them all at once. So many different ways to do it. It doesn't have to be the same every time. That just gives you like a different way of doing it. And with different results. And then you can sit there with I usually have a book, or I like to draw, and I'll probably start doing the happy sheet books too, because it's nice if you have your little happy sheet book there, and then when he comes over, somebody, I don't know if it was you, but somebody was saying like, oh, now I can teach them the stuff that's on that happy sheets. It's like, no, those grown-up happy sheets are yours. It's all yours.
But it's for us.
But those are normal questions. Oh, and then another mom said, oh, well, my other children can use this and you can use it for your adult learners. Maybe, but they're designed for you. When I create them this month, I don't want to be thinking about, okay, my learners with Down syndrome are going to be doing this too. I'm going to put stuff on there that's going to be interesting for parents to do. So you're doing yours, and you could say, oh, Santi, what do you think of my flower? Do you like my flower? Look how I colored. And if you're going to do any teaching, that's teaching enough. You're not going to say, oh, what color is my flower?
Right. Just showing him what you did.
What you did, like partners in learning. Yes. Because we all get turned off a little bit when we're told what to do, unless it's in a teaching type situation.
Right. I also like the fact that while I was working on my happy sheet, I wasn't too busy like, oh, what is he doing? I wasn't peeking in, and because he told me, tune into Mrs. Brown.
Which is nice because what I found is when this is like really, that's a good point. When I'm doing that too and I'm tuned in, I sometimes see that my learners actually do better. Because they're like doing their own thing. And sometimes I'll see like little miracles like, whoa, you did that without me having to tell you to do that. Or they'll say something because they really truly got their own space. And that's really how it should be, especially when you're working on independent work. Now, before, when you're sitting down doing your table work across from each other or whatever, then you're more like, okay, we want to color in the lines. Look at mommy. Mommy's coloring in the lines. Or when they watch my videos, they're seeing that because you're more instructing. But at independent time, you really want it to be as independent as possible. And why I'm going to go back to throwing the markers, because I always tell my moms here, and this is totally understandable, but it happens. You're always a mom 24/7. So how do you kind of turn that off for a few seconds and not go, oh, get your finger out of your nose, or oh, sit up, or here, fix your hair, all that stuff. Don't do any of that stuff during a session. Like if you see a marker being thrown, you're making a point like, okay, that's a behavior we want to take care of, but I'm not going to be like, oh, pick that up, or you shouldn't do that. You got to have a strategic plan for it. And see, this is great because there's so much to share with everybody, and there were so many teachable moments in those videos. And again, everybody's going to be coming from a different place, but I think the beauty of So Happy to Learn is the structure, the layout can be used for anybody, whether you're 3 or 40 or 50 or 60 or any, and we're adapting it right to our learners. But we're basically partners in learning, teaching our learners what it is we want them to learn, and then giving them a chance to do it.
Right.
Modeling. So you're also great because you'll ask a question like, okay, questions that I want people to ask, like, okay, his writing looks kind of sloppy. How do we do it neat? And then I can tell you, like, okay, he's fine. He's probably going to write like that for a couple. My experience, it's going to look like that for a couple years. Okay. And Santi's writing, I can just already tell you're not going to want to change it.
Yeah, I have it. So
because that's his unique handwriting style. Okay. But over the years, it will get neater and it will get smaller and it will be legible. Yeah.
But he could actually make it smaller if he wanted to, but I just let him write however he wants to write.
So what I do, like at the spot where he's at, maybe, like, do you want to write a letter to Mrs. Brown, or do you want to write a letter to Grandma? Then what do you want to say? Then you write it out. Then you give him boxes, and it's okay to say, Santi, let's write a little bit smaller for a letter. Okay. So you have your little practices where you're doing neat writing. Okay. So he's being exposed to it. It's not like you're just saying, hey, write however you want for the rest of your life. Okay. But he's got a unique curve to all his letters.
He does.
And like John, everybody's like, oh, John's got the best handwriting. But John, he's kind of was born with that type. He's just always written that way. Right. But it gets neater and neater as time goes on. Yeah. Okay. Gosh, what else? I think we covered a lot. Is there anything? I just want to thank you for all that you're doing for Santi and for all your help in the group, and you're really setting a good example for how I would like all the moms to be.
Thank you. Thank you also for always being there for everyone. For all the moms, especially the newer moms, and who share like their videos of the first session, because that's really important for the moms to feel that, oh, I can do this. So and encourage everyone to watch the other videos. I think you'll learn a lot also from watching the other moms' videos. So I try to spend some time watching those. So
yes. And there's little things like in the videos that I post, I don't have time to do a perfect edit on every single video and say what every part is, because I'm doing so many different things. Yeah. But if you look, don't you find it when you look at the video, you see little subtle things like, oh, she didn't correct Liliana there, but the next time Liliana came, she made a little correction.
Yeah. So watching those videos, and then I see it and then I ask you questions. So so it's really worth watching the videos when
And when you guys share in the teaching group, then I kind of get to know, I get to know you, and I get to know the history. Like if you just came in I had no history of where you've been, what you've done, where you're going, it's a little bit harder. But when you guys post a lot and share, I see your history and I'm like, oh, okay, you're following the steps really well. Or, ooh, maybe you shouldn't let him just run away and end the session right now. You got to bring him back in. Yes. And I always like to say that I think So Happy to Learn is challenging at first. If I was a new mom coming into the program with a child with special needs, I know it would be challenging for me. I understand all that, but there's really no way around just doing it and learning. But then once you get it, and it's really nice for me to see the parents coming back going like, yeah, this is easy. This is a paradigm shift. Once you get it, it's easy peasy. Sorry. So doing
I think I need some water.
We're going to end now and get you some water, because I just have water at the table for you. But anyway, thank you for being in the video. We could talk all day, couldn't we? All right. Well, anyway, you guys ask questions. I hope you enjoyed this video, and ta-ta.
Bye.